Hey guys, what's up? It's Maddie here, and welcome to my Friday video. This video is a little bit different than what I talked about what I wanted to do on Wednesday, and that is just because there are still things I need to discuss with my doctor that happened at my growth ultrasound. Nothing bad or anything, so don't worry, or ask me if everything's okay. Everything's okay. There's just a couple questions I have that I would like to get answered before explaining things to you. So I have a doctor's appointment next Thursday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my baby update video on Thursday instead of Wednesday, and then still do a video on Friday and Monday for you guys. So it's just going to be up a day late so that I can go to my doctor and come home and kind of tell you everything that I talked about with the ultrasound tech at the hospital, because I had my ultrasound, my growth ultrasound done at the hospital and not at my OBGYN's office. And then let me just talk to my nurse practitioner and kind of get stuff figured out, everything. I just want to be able to tell you guys really informative things, and I don't want to tell you now and then have them tell me something different. So yeah. So what I want to do with this video is kind of just explain about what I did today. And it's kind of like a vlog type explain to you, except you're not following me around. I had a tour of my hospital that I will be delivering my son at. And I kind of wanted to discuss this with you guys because maybe your guys' hospitals offer this class or this tour for you, and you're debating on taking it, or you know someone that took it and you just don't know if you want to. And I thought I'd kind of talk about it and the benefits and kind of the ends regarding, regarding taking a tour of your hospital. So, I mean, we'll just go into it. I mean, you don't have to do anything fancy. There's not too much to discuss. I mean, it's not gonna, we were there for an hour, but you just go in and a nurse came in and greeted us, and then the way that it happened, they first showed us kind of the area, and they told us that if I have a visitor, they have to stop in, give my last name to be able to see me and put a name tag on. They always have to wear their name tags, which I've known because my sister-in-law had a baby a year ago, and my friend had a baby she had a baby a year and a half ago, and then my friend had a baby about 10 months ago. So I've kind of experienced that. I understand that. And then she was explaining to me about how I can have one other person besides me have the wristband for the baby that matches the baby's identity besides me and the baby's. The baby gets two, I get one, and then somebody else gets one. So yeah. Then they just kind of bring us in, and they tell us that they showed me the nursery where your baby would go. Since I have a son and I'm planning on getting him circumcised, they showed me where they would do it at. They show me when they do his hearing test when he's born, where that's at, back in the nursery. They had a baby back there, and I obviously wasn't allowed to hold the baby, but the nurse picked the baby up and I was allowed to see it, and it made everything hit home. I can't believe I'm gonna have my son here soon, and it's just crazy. Then we kind of just went around, and the nurse was showing us a room, okay. I'm trying to, if someone doesn't know what's going on. There are two different rooms. There's a room that, at my hospital, there's a room that you give birth in, and then there's a room that when you go in thinking your water broke, or you're dilated enough, or you're contracting, they will monitor you. So you go into that room first, they check your cervix, they monitor your contractions, they monitor the heartbeat, like the regular, they put those monitors on your stomach, and they kind of just hang out in there. Someone will check you, and then that will determine if you are admitted into the hospital for labor and delivery, or if they send you home. So they showed us that area. They kind of talked about what they do. That was kind of really informative to know that there's two different rooms. I mean, I knew, but it's kind of cool to get a refresher course, because some people may not have been to a hospital that they're delivering, or they may not have visited someone at this hospital. They may not know anybody that's had any kids recently. 5-6 years ago would have been maybe the soonest. So then, after that, they just showed us to the room that you would give birth in and stay in for the days that you were there. And we found out that I knew this, but it was obviously good for a refresher. It's 2 days after you give birth if it's vaginal, and 3 days if it's a cesarean. And that's as long as everything is okay. And so they showed us the room. They showed us that the bed pulls down behind the bed that you give birth. It folds up and folds down at my hospital. That way it's a queen size bed. That way you can just fold it down, and if everything went okay and you had a vaginal birth, you could sleep there. If you have a cesarean, you sleep in a hospital bed the entire time you're there, just because you have that incision down there, and they want to keep you elevated. They want to keep it in a bed that is more transferable if something happens for safety reasons. They have side rails up there just in case. All the usual stuff. They showed us the little machine. No, it's not a machine. The little area that he'll sit in right after he's born when they're cleaning him up. And they just kind of asked me questions if I want what I wanted for pain management. I told them I would like an epidural. They asked if I was breastfeeding, which I want to. And they were asking me if I wanted him on my chest right after he's born. And I said yes, which it's an option not to do it if you want him to be cleaned up first. But throw him on is what I told her. Then we kind of just went around. She was kind of just explaining stuff, asking if I had any questions. I didn't really have any. I'm kind of one of those people, like, I listen really well, and if I have a question, I'll call back later or something, if I come across something. Then she actually took us up to the little NICU, and that is the neonatal intensive care unit, if you didn't know what the NICU was. And that, the hospital that I go to can take care of a baby, even being born at 23 weeks gestation, so gestationally, I don't know how you would say that exactly. So they're a really good hospital. The only time they're ever transferred out of here into like a really, really good, like, I'm talking like a main hospital. We have one hospital about a half hour from here that is the hospital that most everybody goes to around the state of Iowa when there's something wrong. It's a pretty well-known hospital. I would tell you, but then you know around where I live, so I'm not going to. But St. Luke's is what I'm delivering at, which I'm assuming they have St. Luke's maybe everywhere. And so they could take care of a baby anywhere from 23 weeks gestationally delivering at that time, or if something happens and they have to get the baby out. They had a wall up at the NICU of babies over the past 30 years that they've taken care of for a very long time. One was in there, I think one of the longest ones I saw was in there for 179 days. Some were in there for 11 days, 14 days. It's just, it goes to show you. And some of them weren't even early. One was born at 41 weeks and was in the NICU for 14 days. You just never know. But it was really cool to see that, and that they were a really good hospital, and that they can take care of your baby if something was to happen. And I'm already at 34 weeks, almost, pretty close, you know. So being at 34 weeks, they showed me a baby on the plaque wall thing that was 34 weeks, and that he was only in the hospital for 11 days. So it was actually kind of interesting to see that. It was the only one around the time of the pregnancy that I'm at, and it's pretty interesting knowing that they were able to keep that baby alive and everything was okay and everything was good, and that was my biggest worry. After that, I mean, there's not much to do. They just kind of showed me the area so I'm more prepared on where I'm going, what I'm doing. They gave me a phone number to always call them if something feels irregular, or if I feel like I have leakage from my bag of waters, which is your water, your water breaking. They told me to call if I have any unusual contractions or any unusual movement, if he's just being different than what he normally is. And they said that he should honestly be moving around the same amount than what he usually does. Obviously, it's not going to always, eventually he's going to get really cramped in there, so it's not going to be like the same like jabs, but it'll be same movements. He's still going to move at around the same time that he normally does, and if I lay on my side, he should be able to move. They kind of gave me fetal kit or kick counts, which if you don't know what a kick count is, it's the way my hospital does it. Every hour, 4 to 6 kicks, or 4 to 6 movements is that basically, I guess, how I would describe it. Sometimes I'm not sure if he's kicking or if he's just like elbowing or something, so I say 4 to 6 movements. And so kind of about that, if I feel anything about any distress about him moving, they gave me a number to call. I have it in my wallet, and then if I call and they feel like maybe I should come in, I'm just going to go in and get monitored and everything. So I recommend to take your tour of the hospital, and I only recommend this. Some people may see it frivolous, but I feel like you feel more comfortable when you're prepared to what you're going into. And obviously you're never going to be fully prepared for birth, because no first-time mom has ever experienced birth. No no one has, if you're a first time mom like I am, you're never going to know exactly what everything's going to happen. But to be better prepared and know where you have to go, know what the rooms look like, it doesn't feel like this strange place when you're going into it. To me, I think that's really beneficial. So call the hospital that you plan on delivering at and ask them if they do a tour of the hospital where your the birthing unit is. And I really, really recommend you doing it. It was great for, it was great for me. It was very beneficial for me. They gave me a little package and a little onesie. So I really recommend, sorry, I have the hiccups now. I really recommend you to do it. I think it prepared me a little bit more for what it's going to be like. Not the pain or anything, just the urgency, the rush maybe I feel, the room. I'm, excuse me, I'm taking it more finally as I'm giving birth and not one of my friends is giving birth, which is what I'm kind of used to, where I just go in and all this stuff. But I'm pretty ready, so I'm super excited, getting close. I can't believe it. We only have a few more baby updates and everything before he's here, and then you guys will get to meet him, and I will tell you guys his name when he's born, so I hope you guys will be super excited. But I'm going to go now because I said it was going to be a short video, and it's already 11 minutes, and oh my goodness, and I will see you later, alligator.